Hello degenerates. Here's my first purchase of 2024. This is the new Seiko Marinemaster that has 62 mas purists running for the hills. Their tears fuel my joy, and I'm stoked to get a watch that makes people so upset. For the record, I give zero fucks about what the definition of a Marinemaster is, and whether or not this watch has earned the title. All I care about is that I found this watch interesting, which is why I bought one. Full disclaimer, I just got this watch in today. Right now, I'm only making a video to exploit it for views, but at the very least I can show you some close-up shots so you can get a better idea of what it looks like. I will make a more in-depth review after I've had more experience with it. Everything I say in this video is only a first impressions opinion, with a heavy bias in its favor, so if you're not in the mood to listen to a Seiko fanboy gush over an overpriced Seiko watch, then don't watch it. It's only going to disappoint you. So what are my first impressions? I'd say it's a net positive with some criticisms. The thing that jumps out the most to me is the finishing. I'm not sure if this is Zaratsu polishing or not, but whatever it is on another level. The surface is beautiful, and the watch almost glows because of it. Every angle, edge, and millimeter that I can see shines in that Seiko kind of way. I can't explain it other than you just have to be about that Seiko life to understand. Speaking about millimeters, here are the dimensions. I think we can all agree that these numbers are great. It's big enough to support a bezel, small enough to not overwhelm the wrist, and proportionately slim in a way that makes it look lean and sleek. Here it is on my wrist. For reference, my wrist is 7.75 inches or 19.6 centimeters in girth. There's definitely a retro vibe because of the 62 mas outline, but the dial and bezel add a modern touch. It's an interesting design choice, but I think it's refreshing to see a watch that isn't trying so hard to be minimalistic. There's a time and place for simplicity, but there's also room for having some fun. And while the design is fun, this watch is still an ISO rated diver with all the fixings of a proper dive watch. Whether you like the Marinemaster branding or not, this watch comes with a dive bezel, a sapphire crystal, a screw down crown, a screw down caseback, outstanding lume, and is rated for 200 meters of water resistance. Let's take a look at that Lumeshot one more time. LumiBrite is generously applied to all the hands, indices, and pip. There's really no angle where you can't not see the lume. For the bezel, I'd have to say this would be the one disappointment I have. It's not necessarily bad, but it's no better than the bezel action you'd experience on a Turtle or SKX. I'd even go so far to say that those watches have better bezel actions. This one feels sluggish in that typical Seiko way, but it's also stiff, so two characteristics that do not complement each other. Who knows, maybe it'll loosen up over time, but this gets a C- from me for now. The dial is really cool. There's a lot to look at with all of the horizontal lines, but the classic indices, handset, and brushed riot help stabilize all of that craziness in a good way. The crown looks and feels good. The radial brushing pairs well with the case sides, and the action is good. One thing I notice is the bezel, which protrudes half a millimeter over the crown, does slightly get in the way when screwing the crown back in. It's not a big deal, but it is less than ideal. For the caseback, we've got an open exhibition caseback. Personally, I would have preferred a closed Prospex caseback, but I cannot deny that this movement is beautiful. The Tokyo lines showcase the movement in such a wonderful way that I can forgive this egregiously ostentatious display of decoration. For the bracelet, right now I'm torn between loving it and hating it. It's sort of like a Jubilee style bracelet, and I really like that, but at the same time I can't get over this feeling that it's severely out of place. At the very least, just like with everything else, it's beautifully finished. I've heard a lot of complaints about the clasp and lack of micro adjusts, but honestly the links are small enough to where you can lock in the right size without needing extra assistance from several micro adjust positions. The lugs are shaped for straight end link bracelets, which is awesome. That opens the doors to so many bracelet options, and the drilled lugs make it super easy to swap them out. Overall, I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with this watch. It touches all the bases for me because it's a little bit playful and a little bit serious, which is perfect for the kind of watch person that I am. I always found my SPB143 so terribly boring, and this evolution of the 62 Mas bloodline is right on my alley. All I can say is, if you're not having fun with this, then you're doing it wrong. But that's it for now. Stay classy. I sure as hell won't.